Hello, friends. Have you ever noticed that some people almost never post their photos on social media? No selfies, no random mirror pictures, no vacation dump posts with mysterious captions like peaceful but healing. They're just invisible online. And strangely, those people often seem calmer than everyone else. Now, obviously, not posting photos doesn't automatically make someone wise, mysterious, or emotionally advanced. Sometimes people just don't like taking pictures of themselves, but psychologically, people who rarely post their lives online often think differently about attention, privacy, and validation. Social media changed human behavior in a very strange way. For the first time in history, people can turn everyday life into a performance. Eating food becomes content. Going to the gym becomes a photo shoot. Buying coffee suddenly requires 10 angles, perfect lighting, and a deep caption about growth. Humans used to eat meals peacefully. Now people let their fries get cold while trying to take aesthetic pictures for strangers online. And honestly, that's kind of funny when you think about it. People who rarely post themselves usually care less about external validation. Validation is basically emotional approval from other people. Likes, comments, reactions, views, attention. The human brain loves this stuff because every notification gives a tiny dopamine reward. That's why people check their phones every few minutes like they're waiting for life-changing information. But some people slowly stop depending on online attention to feel valuable, and once that happens, their behavior changes completely. They no longer feel the need to constantly prove they're happy, successful, attractive, or having fun. There's actually something psychologically interesting about this. People who constantly post everything sometimes start experiencing life through the eyes of other people instead of their own. They visit a beautiful place and immediately think, "This will look amazing on Instagram," instead of simply enjoying the moment itself. Their brain becomes focused on how the experience appears rather than how it feels. And over time, life can slowly start feeling more performative than personal. Now, posting photos isn't automatically bad. Humans naturally enjoy sharing memories, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a huge difference between wanting to share a moment and needing other people's reactions to feel good about that moment. One comes from expression, the other comes from emotional dependence. And social media blurred the line between those two things. That's why some people feel strangely anxious when their posts don't get enough attention. One low-performing photo suddenly feels personal, as if their value somehow dropped because fewer people clicked a heart icon. People who don't post much also tend to value privacy differently. To them, peace feels more important than visibility. They don't feel comfortable turning every part of their life into public content. Not every happy moment needs an audience. Not every achievement needs proof. And psychologically, private people often feel emotionally safer because they separate their real identity from their online identity. That creates less pressure. Their happiness isn't constantly connected to views, likes, or followers. There's also another important reason behind this behavior. People who rarely post themselves are sometimes more secure internally. They don't feel a constant need to announce their existence to the world. Confident people often don't need non-stop reminders that they matter. Meanwhile, insecure people sometimes chase online attention because compliments and reactions temporarily fill emotional gaps. Not always, but often. That's why social media can become addictive. It gives instant emotional rewards. A compliment, a like, a reaction, tiny moments of approval that make the brain feel good for a short time. But the problem with outside validation is that it never fully satisfies people for long. So they keep chasing more attention, more likes, more proof that they matter. It becomes an emotional treadmill where happiness depends on strangers scrolling through their phones during lunch breaks. Some people eventually realize this and quietly step away from the cycle. Not because they hate social media, but because they don't want their self-worth controlled by online reactions. And honestly, there's something powerful about people who can enjoy life without constantly displaying it. Because in a world where everyone is trying to be seen, some people finally discover peace in staying private. Thanks for watching.